report. Thank you very much. Right, there we go. And alongside Zachary Boudreau, number 1400, which is William Martin in one of the two Guyana Porsches which run in GTS Light. Fourth row of the grid, numbers 1500 and 7. 1500 is Harry Foster in the second of the two Guyana Porsches, and alongside him 7 is Ricardo Vera in the Team Speedway Lambo, and he's leading the GTS Light class and also second overall in the championship after winning the first 4 races in this year's championship. Row 5 is numbers 58 and 1125. 58 is Mark Vieira in his Lamborghini, and 1125, a last-minute sign-up for the Jumbo Jet Lamborghini, is Jamaican Tommy Gore. He'll be among the younger drivers on the grid. Row 6 is cars number 49 and 43. 49 is Costa Rica's Marcos Vento in his green Lamborghini in the GTS Lights class, and number 43 is the white Toyota Gazoo Dominican Republic Lexus of Alfredo Nasri and Jimmy Libra. Row 7 is cars 59 and 154. 59 is Guatemala's Carlos Hernandez in his Lamborghini, third in the GTS class at the moment. And 154 is Calvin Ming in the Porsche. We've already seen him performing in the GT4 races earlier in the day. First outings for him since pre-COVID, all apart from that revival karting event a few weeks ago, which he won. On the 8th row of the grid, numbers 1, 2, 3 and 13. 1, 2, 3 is Ed Peed in the J-Parts Porsche. He's had a lot of experience in sports cars, driven McLarens recently over the last couple of seasons in the UK, and alongside him 13 is Canada's Dean Paquette, who shares that car with Guatemala's Mauricio Roque, who's had many national championship wins in his home country, and that's the black and gold Porsche 911 number 13. Row 9 is numbers 19 and 24. 19 is Ramiz Mohammed, Guyana's own, in his KTM Expo, running in the GTS Turbo class, and 24 is Sebastian Guerra and Alejandro Huerta in their, I've forgotten what it is, it'll come to me in a minute. This is what happens when you put pieces of paper down and somebody picks them up. Of course, that's the Hyundai Veloster, the TCR car. It's like a sort of slightly overgrown touring car, that. Row 10 is numbers 56 and 40, if 40 is here. 56 is David Carbaleda from the GTS Junior class, winner of the GTS Junior class in the 2 years that it has so far run, but on the back foot a bit here in his Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 6 with the biggest wing in the world on the back. He damaged the front splitter during the week, and they haven't really been able to repair it properly. So apart from the fact that he admitted to me this morning he hasn't really got the lines around South Dakota right, equally he doesn't quite trust the handling of the Evo either with the damaged front splitter. And alongside him, number 40 is Kevin King. And finally on the back row, having lost the time from the top 10 shootout session, which was the third of the 3 qualifying sessions yesterday afternoon, starts Danny Harris, and he's somebody else we've seen quite a lot of already today in the number 1300 Joe's Supermarket KTM Expo. Well, that is the cast. We have got drivers from 13 countries competing here this weekend, and as I said already, Destination Guyana having attracted people who have not been here before, and let us hope that this program continues to bear fruit in ever-growing numbers. So the cars are assembled down there on the grid. I am hoping that I am going to have a MyLaps live screen which is going to function and enable me to identify the difference between the two Guyana Porsches, apart from anything else. So I think really on behalf of Guyana, we should thank the man who invented this championship, Eduardo Aguilar, for persevering and helping to make it grow in quality and in quantity. This is the largest grid that this championship has ever seen in its 6 years. The grid personnel legging it rapidly. Obviously, Eduardo has some sort of a training program for all of his staff to make sure they can run properly. One of those being the young lady being his daughter, and a great championship to kick off the international use of this new developed South Dakota with its fantastic pit lane. The cars set off behind the pace car. Two sighting laps behind the pace car, and then a rolling start after it has pulled off into the pit lane. I'm going to have to move these extremely important gentlemen from NACAM slightly out of the way so that I can lean over and see what happens next. Terrific to have top officials from NACAM and the FIA, of course. Dean Cohen is here as well. That's Eduardo Aguilar down there in the pit lane. One of the most active, what does he call himself? The series director, Director General or something like that, and it's a great title, and he works hard at this. The team work hard at it. The discipline is notable. If you've been here during the qualifying and free practice sessions, you'll have heard the whistle blown in the pit lane more often than seems absolutely necessary. It looks as though the man above in the sky is looking down on us in a friendly way as well at the moment. Yes, there is a lot of spray, but it is coming up from the ground rather than falling down onto it. And so that is hopefully an encouraging way in which to start race 1 of round 3 of the 2026 GT Challenge de Lasamericas here in Guyana. So 1 sighting lap completed, a second to come. So the and so one car peeled off into the pit lane, being Kevin King, number 40. I'm not sure whether he will be reappearing to join us. I hope he will. And so building up a little bit of speed. A quick story from a 1,000-kilometre race at Brands Hatch years ago when the pace car was a Ford Capri 3-litre being driven by the guy who then ran the BRSCC, Nick Syret, and out the back of the Grand Prix circuit at Brands Hatch, the front 2 cars on the grid pulled either side of the Capri and sped him up. The McLaren driver is Tatiana. It is Tatiana driving in the first race. That is good. So we do know that it's Tatiana Calderon who is driving the McLaren in this first race. Where did my pen go so I can cross out Juan Diego's name? So Tatiana Calderon of Colombia, a leading light and pioneer in female motorsport, driving that car. She has been a front runner in various championships for some many years. And so Tatiana is starting from pole position. There the
pace truck having built up a bit of speed, coming down now through the gooseneck, and that will be when he pulls off the track onto the pits. There is a Guyanese flag waiting to be waved as vigorously as our race director can wave it. So it is going to be Tatiana Calderon. And no, not happy. Not happy with the formation. So the pace truck making its way back over to its normal pickup point. Our race director not happy with the formation of the field, and so I'm wondering whether Will Redford thought there was a start, because the AMG GT3 is currently leading the field, but it does, right, okay, so yes, they have spotted the fact that there are waved yellows. So pace truck now at the ready once again to see if we can get a clean start that the race director is comfortable with. And so there needs to be, I would have said, some shuffling to be done. Tatiana Calderon, that's the blue car just turning onto the back straight now. That is the pole position car. So they will come round to the grid behind the pace truck, and they will need to once again, we, I believe, need to have the pole sitter where she should be. So there needs to be some shuffling to take place. Right, I can see that looks as though Solivatesh was trying to move the Audi up to where it should be. Yes, he is. I think we're going to have to stop this in order to get it back into the right order, because the two young British drivers at the front there certainly need to be put back into their correct grid positions. So, Series Director General Eduardo Aguilar on his way to the grid. He runs as well, they're all very fit. and other members of his team come out of the very sensibly placed centre gates in the pits and pit wall, and therefore we can re-establish the grid order as it was, which is number 4, Tatiana Calderon on the front row alongside 44 Solibatesh, which is the McLaren, the only one of its type racing anywhere in the world, and the Audi on row 2, the black and red Lamborghini of the GTS class and overall leader of the 2026 GT Challenge for Lasamericas, Gustavo Ortega from Costa Rica. Alongside him, the red AMG GT3 of Will Redford. My clipboard's gone again, so I now know nothing. So it all looks pretty tidy. What I have noticed is that... no, I think I can see Marc Vieira's car. Okay. Or can I? Yes. They're also flat and low, these things, and they have big wings. They're quite difficult to identify from a distance. Thank you, Mike. So drivers patiently sitting in their machines. I suppose the silver lining in this cloud, if that's how you like to look at it, is that the track has had an opportunity to dry out a bit. The pace truck leaves again, and off we go for a further So, underway for a final sighting lap. The dear old Evo tagging along nearly at the end with Danny Harrison in the KTM Expo behind. So hopefully everybody will stay in an appropriate formation. I can remember some classic Caribbean Motor Racing Championship rolling starts. So through the pace truck makes its way onto the back straight. One awful lot of horsepower behind him as he heads down towards the gooseneck, and this time to pull off into pit lane, the national flag of Guyana at the ready to start the first heat of the Guyana Grand Prix. There is the pace truck turning into pit lane. There is the field of cars in the GT Challenge de Lasamericas. A lot of headlights ablaze, shining, reflecting off the wet track, but a little bit drier than it was earlier on. And as the flag is waved, it's Tatiana Calderon who makes the very best of the start as they go down into turn one. The race lasting for 30 minutes and one lap. That's how they always work, and so it is Tatiana Calderon who has the advantage at the beginning of this race down into the hairpin in the middle of the circuit. Gustavo Ortega tucked in behind him. The Solibatesh Audi is next up, and then the AMG of Will Redford as they make their way on their first lap. I haven't actually tried to work out how many laps they might do, probably around about 20, I would guess. Tatiana Calderon, Colombia's first woman to drive a Formula One car, and a champion in various sports, makes her way onto the back thing. We did see Mark Vieira benefited too from the uncomfortableness of that first start, because he is back in the field, having had to be rescued by Mobile One. And so we're coming up to the completion of the opening lap of this race with Tatiana Calderon, the driver, in charge at the moment. Gustavo Ortega is in second place behind him. Young Will Redford is nosing alongside the Audi. He's on the inside. The Mercedes moves up into third place. The Audi demoted into fourth place. So, and we've got Gustavo Ortega, the championship leaders, on the grass. It is not a lawnmower, it's a Lamborghini. He needs to get back on the road, which he does, but he's dropped down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th place. It is slippery out there. They're running on intermediate tyres, Daniel Cohen of the FIA has just pointed out to me. Whether they're going to last half an hour is an interesting thought as well. So Tatiana Calderon now being chased by the young British driver Will Redford, and a rather sideways Solibatesh in the Audi behind him. Zachary Boudram is up there scoring points for Trinidad and Tobago in fourth place. And it looks as though there are issues for Mark Vieira, because he's pulling into the back entrance to the pits. Clearly there is an issue for him, and so he is returning to the pit area. So Tatiana Calderon now being chased by Will Redford. In third place is Solibatesh. Fourth, and Will Redford in the red AMG GT is really pressing Tatiana Calderon. Looks at the inside as they get to the hairpin. Can he find a way past? No, he can't. But we have McLaren and Mercedes going to be mating in the lead of this race. However, where has Gustavo Ortega recovered to? He's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, I think he is. Actually, I could check that if I had a look at my screen. No, I can't, because an error has happened. So my live screen's gone dead again. And so Tatiana Calderon's got the nose of Will Redford alongside the left of her rear, if that's not an unpleasant thing to say about a young lady racing driver. But she is defending as hard as she can in that one-of-a-kind that's racing McLaren. There are only 15 in the world anyway. Coming up towards the end of the second lap. Down into the final turn, and Tatiana has extended something else, an advantage off the two Guy America Porsche 911s running in fifth and sixth places. Seventh now is the leader of the GTS Lights class, which is Ricardo Vera in the Team Speedway car, and David Carbaleda is running well in the Evo 6, much better, I suspect, than he expected to, and perhaps the conditions are helping him and making that car a little bit more manageable. So as Mark Vieira's pit crew push the car along to his pit box, we look over towards the gooseneck once again. We're still And the battle has closed up a little bit this time. Will Redford, through the wiggly bits of the circuit, manages to ease himself closer to Tatiana Calderon, but she has the advantage along the long straight. So the field having split up rather, Gustavo Ortega not making very much progress at the moment. Indeed, Calvin Ming's not that far behind championship leader Gustavo Ortega. And there is Marcos Vento of the GTS Lights class. Some good little battles going on in the midfield. Leading the V8 class, because I don't think we've got the Corvette, have we? I think we are missing the Corvette. So leading the V8 class is going to be and David Carbaleda loses one position to one of the Lamborghinis. And still it is Tatiana Calderon who is in charge of the race. This race, Will Redford a couple of seconds behind then Solly Batesh, with Zachary Boudram still in fourth place, and the two Guyana Porsches having dropped back a little bit from Zachary Boudram, who is now gaining quite noticeably now over the Solly Batesh Audi in that battle for third place. Seventh is, at the moment, is Ricardo Vera, but he's about to have a challenge from the championship leader as they work their way through the S's on the far side of the circuit. Ricardo Vera, and we've had a spinner at the gooseneck, the spinner being in the form of the Dominican Republic Lexus, which has got itself going back in the right direction, so it's about to come past us now. That's the sole representative in the V8 class in this race, I suspect, with nearly 1,000 horsepower in that Chevrolet Corvette. Then it was sensible not to try and have a run out in this. It spun quite a lot during the free practice sessions earlier in the week. Ricardo Vera still keeping the championship leader Ortega behind him at the moment. And continues to do so as they head towards the hairpin. So the GTS Lights class being led by the Guyana Porsche, and the having spun V8 Lexus now needs to be getting out of the way of the lead battle, because Bedford is right on Tatiana's tail as they go down into the gooseneck. The Lexus tries it and succeeds. The Lexus keeps out of the way. The lead battle goes past him. The lead battle is still in the same order. Tatiana Calderon ahead of the young Will Redford, but did she lose a bit of momentum? No, I don't think she did. And so the order remains the same. The Audi still third, Zachary Boudram still fourth, and it is Will Martin ahead of Harry Foster in the Guyana camp. Gustavo Ortega closing right up on Vera for 7th place once again, but the GTS championship leader manages to hold on to his advantage at the moment in a hairpin. Gustavo Ortega has got the sort of headlights that are banned in Barbados because they're so bright, but Ricardo Vera is not having any of it. He's not allowing himself to be phased by the headlights behind him, and he is doing a really good job of holding off Gustavo Ortega. Remember, I said there's a slightly different scoring system for the overall championship, and Gustavo Ortega dives down on the inside, moves himself up into 7th place. It doesn't matter in terms of the class championship, but it'll make a difference in terms of the overall. So Tatiana Calderon about to really get deep into the Lasamericas now. The blue McLaren is coming up behind the black, red and white Mitsubishi Lancer. Ivo and David gets out of the way as best he can. He pulls right to the outside of the hairpin, and that allows the battling duo at the head of the field to get past him with no interruption to their fight. Having said that, though, Will Redford is now that bit closer to Tatiana Calderon than he was. And another back marker, this being the Dean Paquette Porsche 911, is the next issue for Tatiana Calderon to deal with. I suspect he did not expect the front runners to be lapping him quite so early in this race. Calderon and Bedford, and the Team Paquette Porsche has gone straight on at the gooseneck. I don't think it's connected to anything, or whether he was just simply getting out of the way of that battle, but here we are completing another lap with fantastic battle between Tatiana Calderon and Will Redford, with now a potential change behind, because Zachary Boudram is getting ever closer to the Solly Betesh Audi. Watching the leaders as they come through the extended section into the right-hander. The Hyundai Velostar, number 24 of Sebastian Guerra and Alejandro Herta, is the next car for the lead battle to pass. Remember, the grid for the second heat is based on the results of the first. Pleased to see Mark Vieira back out of the pits, although he won't be getting a result in this race, but perhaps he will be able to cure whatever problem it was which had caused the problem. The Veloster is passed easily on the pit lane. Tatiana Calderon still the driver in charge of this race. Will Redford, who won here 3 times in the Porsche last November, is still harassing the young lady from Colombia. The young man from Jamaica is the next car that they will need to be lapping young Tommy Gore, who only got the drive, only got into the car for the first time yesterday in qualifying. I think the car has only been in the country for a very brief period of time. He's a very lucky young man. He was here building sims for Ilan Rahman, he tells me, because Ilan is building a container with 4 sim units in, and so they come upon Tommy Gore at the gooseneck. Tommy will be aware, I suspect, that that is the battle for the lead of this race, and so he will ease away to the outside of the circuit, but no, he doesn't, and so Tatiana goes one side of him. Oh! I had a feeling that Will Redford was going to go the other side of Tommy Gore, but he thought better of it, because the far side of the track from the control tower is without doubt much damper than this side is. Down into the hairpin they go now. Some real traffic up ahead of them, which may have its bearing on this lead battle. The KTA of Danny Harrison is there ahead of them, as is the blue Lamborghini of Mark Vieira. Harrison gets past Mark Vieira quite easily into the right-hander. Tatiana Calderon is now looking at the rear wing of Mark Vieira's Lamborghini. She gets out into quite a big puddle. That allows Will Redford to nose alongside. Redford is really putting Tatiana Calderon under some pressure now. They've got past Mark Vieira, and third place Solibatesh is about to get past Tommy Gore as well as they come through the gooseneck. And in a rather lonely fourth place, Zachary Boudram is at least keeping out of any trouble that there might be. So, couple of lengths between the McLaren and the AMG, Mercedes AMG, as they head down. Large number of spectators on the far side of the circuit as well, viewing points that haven't been available before. Will is trying his very best. He's nosing alongside the outside of the McLaren, trying to drive all the way around the outside, but that is not going to work. So Tatiana Calderon still managing to hold on to her lead. Young Will Redford is not going to let this go. Nose to tail they come through. And into the pits has come Ricardo Vera down to the team speedway box. Not sure what the issue is for Vera. So they are at the gooseneck. Leaders coming out of the final turn once again, 2/3 of the way through this race, and still Tatiana Calderon showing just what women in motorsport can do when they really put their minds to it. Being harassed by Will Redford all the way. There has never been more than 3 or 4 lengths between these two drivers. Tatiana managing to make the McLaren as wide as it is possible to be, and once again as they get to the hairpin there's an opportunity for Will to get his nose alongside the rear of the McLaren. It doesn't quite work out and he takes a much wider exit from that right-hander, but that still doesn't help him either. He's trying to work on tactics as this race reaches its closing stages, but Tatiana Calderon is doing a fantastic job of keeping the young British driver at bay. On the back straight, down into the gooseneck once again. They come out of the final turn. Now a little bit of free air ahead of them now for a while. I don't think there's going to be another big glut of lapping that needs to be done, and if anything, Tatiana in the McLaren has pulled out a little bit of an advantage. Solibatesh still third in the Audi. Zachary Boudram still fourth in the Team Speedway Mitsubishi. And the two Team Guyana, Lasamericas Porsches holding on to their 5th and 6th places. So still it is blue ahead of red, McLaren ahead of Mercedes. It works alphabetically as well, you see, but whether it is going to work all the way to the checkered flag of this 30-minute plus 1 lap race, I do not know. Ricardo Vera has rejoined from a pit stop. I couldn't divine from up here quite what it was that the Team Speedway pit crew were trying to deal with. Here come the leaders once again, and remarkably they're beginning to catch 59 Carlos Hernandez in his black with Dayglow trim Lamborghini. I wasn't sure they were going to catch him, but they most certainly have, and they've caught him at the hairpin. Dean Paquette's black and gold Porsche 911 is ahead of them too. So the Lasamericas is continuing in the closing stages of this race. Zachary Boudram treading carefully on this still very damp track. Well past Hernandez they have got. So now it's the Dean Paquette Porsche ahead of them, and then the Danny Harrison, Danny Harrison, now did he? I think we have possibly a Lamborghini that isn't very well. Where's the lead battle? Here it is, still blue ahead of red, still Tatiana Calderon ahead of Will Redford, still Colombia ahead of England. With in third place the Panamanian Audi, fourth Trinidad and Tobago, which is Zachary Boudram, whatever it was that they were attending to with Ricardo Vera's car. This unfortunately is going to be the first race this year in which Ricardo Vera has not won the GTS lights class. Well, how that will affect his overall championship position, I don't know. Well, he won't get any overall points for this race, will he? No. Blue and red continue as they head down. And that's the close. I heard the touch. There is no doubt there was a touch there between the McLaren and the Mercedes, unless it was, of course, a very clunky gearbox. Perhaps that's what Will Redford meant when he said he was driving by feel earlier on. Out of the final turn they come. Tatiana Calderon has staged the most remarkable defence in this race from the very start, from the very first corner. And she has managed to do it with great. 7 minutes to go, and then the lap after that, so just 7 minutes to go. Tatiana Calderon probably wishing it was a 25-minute race, because then it would be over in 2 minutes, wouldn't it? Still, she's managing to hold Will Redford at bay. Ed Peed in the J-Parts Porsche is the next car that they are going to find themselves lapping, and with 7 minutes to go, I'm fairly certain that that is going to be the case. Marcus Vento there in the green Lamborghini from Costa Rica. He comes into the pits, so an issue there for Marcus Vento as well. David Carbaleda in the Mitsubishi. Oh, I'm not sure that he saw that Porsche coming, but Ed Peed managed to get past him without too much trouble. I sincerely hope that he does see the McLaren and the Mercedes coming, but Marcus Vento in the pits and not looking as though he is going to be rejoining. Where are the leaders? Will Redford trying to work out whether the damper part of the track is going to be manageable or not. That AMG Mercedes is a very wide machine indeed. When you look at it head on, it's got a really growly mouth as well. That car has only been in Guyana for a couple of weeks or so, and engineers have been here over the last 3 or 4 days preparing it to suit the GT regulations. David Carbaleda hops over the curbs in his Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 6. He is going to pull. Oh, and Marcus Vento does rejoin in the green Lambo from Costa Rica. We've still got the V8 Lexus in the game, the only V8 that started the race. and we've still got the Veloster as well. David Carbaleda keeping out of the way of Tatiana Calderon, and the Mercedes behind her into turn one. Once again, Ed Peed in the J-Parts Porsche keeps well out of the way of the lead battle. Some brilliant mirror watching and team communication going on, I have to say, as well. And it looks as though the McLaren's running a little bit wide. No, it didn't. Perhaps we are now beginning to get to the point where these intermediate tyres are really not working at their optimum. It's been a punishing race. They haven't been able to take optimum lines. They've just had to fight and fight all the way. Both Tatiana Calderon and Will Redford. Still a handful of cars that are going to come into the... We are going to lap you before the checkered flag. Glad to see that Mark Vieira is still running, albeit will not be scoring any points. Looking out towards the final turn, little queue of back markers into the pits has come. That's the other Hernandez car, and the Lexus keeps out the way. The lead battle rumbles past on for another lap. It wasn't the other Hernandez car pulling into the pits, I beg your pardon. It was Marcus Vento who was going back into the pits, returning to the pit box whence he came not very long ago. Will Redford saying, look, either hurry up, Tatiana, or just let me use a bit of road that I think I can make work, because this is really proving to be the most frustrating race possible for Will Redford, but I bet a very enjoyable one as well. Clear road now, I reckon, to the checkered flag. No more back markers. I said that once before, I admit it. But this time I think I'm absolutely right. No more back markers to interrupt this race as they head down towards the gooseneck. Once again, nosing alongside the rear of the McLaren. The Mercedes just got its front wheel alongside the rear wing of the McLaren. Down into the final turn once again. It's still the blue McLaren 720 GT3X that has the advantage, with Colombia's First Lady of Motorsport at the wheel. And then down into turn one. Audi still third. Zachary Boudram still in fourth place. And the two Guyana Porsche 911s, which I'm not seeing, yes, there they are, still pretty much in formation. And eventually Will Redford has found his way into the lead at the inner hairpin with a maneuver down the inside. A bit of a late braking dive through he has gone, and so Will Redford takes over position number one in the day's first GT Challenge de Lasamericas race here at South Dakota in Guyana, the first heat of the Guyana Grand Prix. I doubt there will be any other dramatic changes of position, but Will Redford tried everything that he knew in that race, plus one or two things that probably aren't even written in the book yet, and he is ahead, and I suspect that tyres may well have something to do with this. And so the Audi still in third place. There is the blue and the yellow Lamborghini of Zachary Boudram, who lies in fourth place. All of these other cars having been lapped. And so a sizable gap has opened up. I very much doubt that the gap between Tatiana Calderon and the McLaren and whoever is driving the Solibatesh Audi will be able to reduce enough for him to take a place from her. I think Tatiana to do is just hold on. This is the last lap coming up to so the final time around South Dakota goes Will Redford in the AMG Mercedes, the Bourne MPP Peter Lewis construction car, which so then Mark Vieira is ahead of him, probably won't need to lap him on this final lap, so Will Redford becomes the man who's won all 4 GT3 races here at South Dakota, having won 3 last year in the Porsche 911, and managing after lap after lap after lap, managing to outwit Tatiana Calderon to come down and be the first winner of a GT Challenge to Lasamericas race in Guyana. Flashing lights at the team, and a successful first outing here in that Mercedes for Will Redford, finishing in second place. Tatiana Calderon third, Solly Betesh in the Audi fourth, Zachary Boudram in the Lamborghini. Then there's quite a gap before we see the sixth place finisher. All of these cars lapped either once or twice, and in formation towards the line they come. The Team Guy America Porsches, which have finished first and second in the GTS Lights class, with the early pit stops for Ricardo Vera, and then retirement for Ricardo Vera as well. Disappointing for the 4-time winner so far this year, but doubtless things may well improve. So still a very busy racetrack, but the GT Challenge de las Americas has delivered. My gut tells me that the slight delay at the beginning, caused by an unsatisfactory initial rolling start, just allowing us to get out of the end of that first unpleasant bit of weather, will prove to have helped make that race as exciting as it was. Into the pit lane, there are weigh scales at the end of the pit lane, this championship run to FIA rules, and so cars are weighed at the end of the event. If you'll excuse me for a moment, I'm going to put my microphone down and have a glug of water, because that was a very thrilling race indeed, and I see quite a lot of competitors now doing their very best to drive through some puddles to try and make their tyres feel a little bit better than they do. But a terrific result for the jumbo jet crew down there. Paul Rivette, who we've already seen racing here, acting as team manager after Terry had to go back to the UK before. So as the GT Challenge, the Lasamericas cars are making their way around towards the grid, probably just an appropriate time to recap what happened in the earlier race, which was led almost throughout by Tatiana Calderon in the McLaren until Will Redford got past her 3 or 4 laps from home. 2 minutes left of pit lane. 2 minutes left for the pit lane, please. So Will Redford crossed the line 0.15 of a second ahead of Tatiana Calderon. Will Redford winning the GTS class, Tatiana winning the GTS Turbo class, and indeed she was the only finisher in the GTS Turbo class. Solly Batesh, well actually it was Luis Ramirez in the Audi came third, Zachary Boudram came fourth, respectively second and third in the GTS class. Harry Foster and William Martin, the English guys in the Guyana Porsches, finished in 5th and 6th place, first and second in GTS Light. And the championship leader, I haven't seen championship points updated yet, but he was the championship leader both overall and in the GTS class. Gustavo Ortega finished in 7th place after that rather dramatic lawn mowing moment at the hairpin on the, I think it was the opening lap, wasn't it? So he didn't manage to make up very much ground. The top 10 completed by Calvin Ming and Ed Peed in a pair of Porsches, finishing respectively 3rd and 4th in GTS Lights. And the top 10 completed by Jamaican Tommy Gore, driving this Lamborghini for the first time here at South Dakota, having been called up sort of yesterday, really. And so a good result for young Tommy.
30 seconds.
30 seconds, pit lane open, 30 seconds. I could do 29, 28, 27, 26 if you want me to. No, perhaps not.
What else can I tell you? The GTS Junior class was won by Danny Harrison in the J Supermarket KTM Expo. He was 11th overall. David Carbaleda came second, and the Veloster came in 3rd place, being driven in the first race by Alejandro Herta. The V8 class only had one car in it, which I'm really sad about, because that Chevrolet Corvette C5 is just magic. And so the V8 victory went to Alfredo Nausri, who finished 5th overall. And so that is what happened. The grid that is assembling now, bit by bit, is based on the results of that opening race. And so we will see, remember that for these GT Challenge races, pole position is on the pits side, not the clubhouse side. And so that's why Will Redford is sat there in the Mercedes. I'll go through the order in a moment. So that was a moment. So now then, let's just see. Oh, they're getting on quite well. It's quite neat and tidy so far. So the front row is 42 and 4. So that's Will Redford in the AMG GT3. And now it's Juan Diego Hernandez in the McLaren, the man who's set the fastest lap ever around South Dakota during this week. On the second row are numbers 44 and 46, and I now know who's driving them because I found out a bit late who was driving them in the first race. And so 44 is now being driven by Solly Batesh. That's the grey Audi with the Dayglow bits on it. And 46, of course, is Trinidad and Tobago Zachary Boudram in their Team Speedway Lamborghini. Sad, incidentally, to see looking down at the pit box that Ricardo Vera will not be making a start in this second race, so clearly whatever went wrong
for him in the first heat today was in some way a little bit more terminal than the team would have liked. On the third row, numbers 1500 and 1400 being Harry Foster and William Martin in the Guy America Construction Porsche 911s. On the fourth row, 51 and 154, Gustavo Ortega, who really does need a good result in this second race to hold on to his championship advantage in a Lamborghini, and 154 is Calvin Ming in the One Guyana Porsche. On row 5, numbers 1, 2, 3 and 1125 from the UK, it's Ed Peed in the J-Parts Porsche 911, and 1125 is Tommy Gore in the Jumbo. Well, that works then. In the Jumbo Jet Lambo. On row 6, numbers 1300 and 59. 1300 is Danny Harrison in the KTM Expo. 59 is Carlos Hernandez in his Lamborghini. Row 7 is the two runners in the GTS Junior class, which is 56 and 24. 56 David Carbaleda in the Evo 6. So I think we'll be happier about his first race than he expected to be. And alongside him is Sebastian Guerra, because it was who was running in the first race in the Hyundai Veloster. On row 8. Now I'm beginning to run out of seeing whether cars are actually there. On row 8 are meant to be cars 43 and 13. 43 is the Lexus, which isn't there at the moment, so I don't know whether that is going to make its way out. Well, no, the pit's closed now, isn't it? So it won't be making its way out, unless it's hidden somewhere up there. But I think we're not getting the Lexus. Row 9 will be car number 49 on its own, which is a Lamborghini of Marcus Vento. Only having said that, I don't see the green Lambo either. So the 10th row is 19 and 40, which is Ramiz Mohammed's Expo, which I know for a fact isn't there, and Kevin King, who I doubt will be but might be. And at the back is number 58, Mark Vieira, who had quite a lengthy pit visit early in the race, having arrived in the pits through an unacceptable entrance, I think is the nice way to put it. So hey. There we go. Hey. So that will be our final race of the day, and as it was before, 30 minutes plus one lap. Just to tell you, because I've got the results, only I don't know where I put them now, that they're probably still on the screen, yes. 24 laps was the answer, so 30 minutes around here is round about 23 laps, plus one lap. Hey. 2. Two. Check. Hey. So it would seem that we do have the weather earlier on was not helpful for it, but a cultural moment of Guyana, which someone to.
Across the racetrack, we're ready to race. Yeah. Okay.
Testing. Hey. Hi.
Song 1, 2. Song.
Hey.
Song 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Across the Atlantic, There's a beautiful country where the people are so nice, unified in harmony. Let's live in the moment, take in the feeling. It's the reason we're free. This is our journey. We will never forget who we are. Together we stand, together we build, 'cause you know we are one. Together we are stronger, Guyana live forever, 'cause you know we are one. Guyana, land of the brave and free.
Guyana, a place for you and me.
Say this is Guyana, land of the brave and free. We believe in Guyana, a place for you and me. Let's live in the moment, take in the feeling. It's the reason we're free. We are changing, this is a journey. We will never forget who we are. We grow, we grow, we grow, we grow together. True love will find her home, her place together. Onward, upward as a nation. To keep Guyana free, for we are one people, one nation. Anybody from Guyana? Let's live in the moment, take in the feeling. It's the reason we're free. We are changing, this is our journey. We will never forget who we are. We grow, we grow, we grow, we grow together. True love will find her home, her place together. Again, we grow, we grow, we grow, we grow together. True love will find her home, her place together. Say this is Guyana, land of brave and free. We believe in Guyana, a place for you and me.
All Guyanese, make some noise right now! My home! I wanna open the doors and welcome everyone to my home. The land of the mighty, my joy, oil and gold.
got it. There we
Yes.
it. Got it. Right here we got it.
All right. Don't come back with your lies after you enjoy your life, thinking I will take you home again. Don't stress me out, go away.
You're the right time in it now.
Oh gosh. Oh, my foot is squat. My foot is squat. My foot is squat. My people go, go, go. My people go, no, no, tomorrow I know. Movemos anyway.
Engine start up the bike. I really love when you ride like this. Really love when you turn and twist. Really love when you ride like this. He's so nice and physically fit.
Beep, boy. That boy, you tear up the damn street, boy. You make my heartbeat go boom, 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 boom. When I rap it up hard, boom, 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 boom. You damn dirty devil, you really love trouble. When I check the speed is 147. He got me aroused, make a U-turn, let's ride to my house. Boys love girls, and girls love boys. Girls love toys, we like big bike. Boys love girls, and girls love boys. Girls love toys, we like to ride.
I really love when you ride like this. Really love when you turn and twist. Really love when you ride like this. He's so nice and physically fit. I really love when you ride like this. Really love when you turn and twist. Really love when you ride like this. He's so nice and physically fit.
Me could if you nice for your bike, and we are right across the west side.
Hello, hello, haha. Well, what an energetic display of love for home country that was. And so the GT Challenge de Lasamericas cars with their, in the case of shared drivers, the other driver now in them, already set off on the first of their two sighting laps. Let's hope that the weather that looks rather threatening stays away for 30 minutes plus one lap of South Dakota. Unfortunately, we're seeing Mark Vieira's Lamborghini being pushed back into his pit box, so no challenge from car number 58 in this final race of the day. Our second GT Challenge de las Americas race, the second in round 3 in their championship. So remember, the Mercedes AMG GT3 was the car that won the opening race in the hands of Will Redford, who drives again in this second race. But Tatiana Calderon, who did such a fantastic job of defending her lead in very tricky conditions, but lost out just a few laps from home, is now replaced by Juan Diego Hernandez, who is the regular driver of this car, this spectacular McLaren of the nascent team. Strikes me that the pace truck well, much tyre warming going on these sighting laps, which wasn't an option in the damp conditions of the earlier race. So let's hope that we're going to get Mike, the race director, is preparing his Guyana flag. And let's hope that we're going to get a clean start and straight into our second heat of the GT Challenge de las Americas, partway through the championship's 6th season now. First visit to Guyana, 6 weeks' time, first visit to Barbados, and after that, a first visit to Mexico, as well as the championship spreads its wings, not only to take racing further afield, but also to spread more developing relationships between the Latin and South American and Central American countries and the Caribbean. The green Lambo of Marcus Vento, which did not finish the earlier race, is looking as though it wants to make its way out of the pit lane. Mike looks as though he's happy that we can go, and it looks very much like Hernandez as the Lexus starts from the pit lane, but Marcus Vento's car is pushed back in, and we've already got a spinner which looks like the Audi to me, but I'm not 100% sure. And so, but certainly the car in the lead is the McLaren, and we also had a very slow car. How on earth can they be lapping a car when this is so early in the race? I need to work that out. Anyway, the McLaren leads of Hernandez, with Will Redford giving chase, a familiar picture that we have seen before. And so it looks as though we've lost the Audi's had a spin, another spin. There is a lot of spinning going on, and it must be getting just a little bit damp out there and out of the final turn at the beginning of the opening lap. The McLaren leads. Bedford is second. Zachary Boudram is third. The two Porsches are behind. And the Audi is still there, hasn't got itself going. I wouldn't have thought that was a very healthy place for the Audi to be. Somebody has been off on the grass to avoid it, who was that. So it looks as though we're going to try and rescue that stranded Audi. 3-car battle for the lead going on, however, as Zachary Boudram has caught up with the two ahead of him. And it is Harry Foster ahead of Will in the pair of Porsches. So now across the line comes the race leader at the end of lap 2. Hernandez leading from Bedford. Zachary Boudram in third place. And so the pace truck, and the Audi got itself going in the midst of all of that minor panic up here in the so I think the pace truck is out there just to try and do the very best he can to gather the field back together again. So the Audi having spun, and we've got another car that's gone straight ahead, which has now disappeared behind a tree. So it looks to me as though that is the Lexus. No, the Lexus is there at the back. So who is that? The Porsche of Calvin Ming then? No, it's not. It's the Hyundai Veloster. That's the other largely white car. So we are having another start after the pace car pulls into the pits, and Mike has got his flag of Guyana ready here once again. So we get 2 starts. Yes, it was the Veloster which had gone straight ahead across the grass, but got itself back onto the track. And so as they come out of the first turn. So where is the pace car? It's just over there at the gooseneck. Pace truck has pulled into the pits, so we're looking over towards Mike to see whether we're going to have a second wave of the flag, which we are. And so underway once again. Juan Diego heads down into turn 1. So through the hairpin on the centre of the circuit, and Zachary Boudram is looking very determined indeed, because he's trying to find his way past the Mercedes of Will Redford as they go onto the downhill section, and Zachary Boudram dives alongside, but he's way out off and onto the grass. He really just tried something that wasn't going to work. Somebody else has rocketed right the way across the guts. Gustavo Ortega again. I thought Lamborghinis made tractors. They clearly make lawnmowers as well, because he's used his as one twice today already. Who's that who's trying to avoid him? That's David Carbaleda in the Evo 6. And so that was all very dramatic indeed. Obviously with the rain that we've had, the infield must be just like driving on ice, and so much more of a lead being developed, and a good battle behind going on, which is one reason why Diego Hernandez is managing to pull out such an advantage, because the Mercedes coming under serious pressure now in second place. And of course, as the conditions are steadily worsening, it's now all down to driver skill once again, and Zachary Boudram's Lamborghini is beached in the infield there, and it looks as though we're needing to put the pace truck out once again, as we can see how damp the circuit is now becoming. Solly Batesh returns in his Audi. He needs to go past the safety truck, the pace truck, I think. Yes, he does, in order to catch up with the back of the Crocodile, which is going to be a rather difficult tail to pin together, because they are spread in all sorts of strange places at the moment. The Hyundai Veloster being the last car in the Crocodile, apart from the Audi of Solly Batesh, which has just rejoined from pit lane. So we have yellow flags all around. And a fairly complex situation to deal with. One of our twin cab mobiles is on its way to Zachary Boudram's car, the hope being that we're going to be able to rescue it in fairly short order. It's going to be a tow it out backwards job, and the lads are reversing down there. The safety car is out. Sorry, someone just walked past and unplugged my microphone. It's a bit crowded up here. And as the field is going to pass the stricken Zachary Boudram, where is the Audi? Oh, that's now coming towards the hairpin. So that is good. Oh, it looks as though it's not a tow it out backwards job. It looks as though it might be a tow it out forwards job. So we're trying that next, and the field, well, 8 cars of the field, 9, 10. We are losing numbers, 1 or 2 pit visits, one being Calvin Ming, possibly changing to more appropriate tyres. Now we'll see, and also 59, which is Carlos Hernandez. David Carboleda just on his way round, and our twin cab mobile tow it out of the mud job is really working. It'll soon be off the grass onto some solid ground. Which it is now. Ed Peed also taken the opportunity for a pit visit as well, doubtless for a change of tyres in the J-Parts Porsche, and so he is emerging. It is clearly very slippery out there, as has the driver of the KTM Expo, which is the young British driver, Danny Harrison. The Veloster's been in as well. Sebastian Guerrero reappears from the pits. That was Calvin Min making his way to catch up with the end of the Crocodile. It's a rather patchy Crocodile at the moment, but bit by bit it's turning into one string of cars. We're over 10 minutes into this race now, and more pit visitors have been Maurizio Rock is out, so also has been the Porsche of Dean Paquette. Now with Maurizio Rock at the wheel. So have we got the pace truck? So underway once again down into turn one. Conditions not looking good. Pace car pulled off into the pits, so we are under racing conditions once again, but cars still definitely struggling for grip. And the AMG GT, as it turns onto the back straight, the pace car has been safe. Right, the safety car has been deployed again. So the McLaren also came into the pits as well. So nothing if not a rather confused picture at the moment, and the live timing screen, I'm afraid, not offering a great deal of assistance. So Danny Harrison in the KTM Expo about to rejoin from pit lane with, according to, I've just got myself a live screen that actually works, 1400, Will Martin now leading this. What we need to do is work out where Will Martin is, but now we've got everybody now going into the pits. Apart from the Lamborghini of Carlos Hernandez, which has just headed past. Interesting, in those conditions, the fastest lap recorded in the race so far by Tommy Gore. Zachary Boudram, probably with a bit of grass stuck up underneath the chassis of his Lamborghini, has just gone past us. So that car's still running now. It's been dragged out of its position. So a complicated situation here at the moment. So depending upon how the GT Challenge sorts out its results, are we now bringing them all back to the grid? I believe that we are. So with the race in a red flagged position after 7 laps, the positions according to the timing screen, William Martin leading in car number 1400, Tommy Gore in second place, having set the fastest lap. Then next up, Jimmy Libra in the Lexus. Then fourth, David Carbadella. You'll want me to take a photograph of that because he's ahead of Juan Diego Hernandez. Cars that had taken pit stops, cars that hadn't. Ed Pete 7th, Harry Foster 6th, Ed Pete 7th, Calvin Ming 8th, Carlos Hernandez 9th, Mauricio Rock in 10th place. But we now reorder the grid, I think. Good moment to do a few votes of thanks, and I think first of all the most obvious one would be to all of the Guyanese Motor Racing and Sports Club's volunteer marshals who sometimes stand out in baking heat, which can be extremely uncomfortable, but sometimes, like today, stand outside in the most appalling weather. So all of those volunteers do deserve the greatest round of thanks from the organisers, the competitors, and indeed the spectators. And I think I'm also going to next just say thank you to our spectators who have been dealing with some fairly unpleasant weather, and so great so many people turned out. Hopefully we'll come to a decent conclusion at the end of today. I've spoken already about the assistance given to the club by the government of Guyana in the assistance in the building and redevelopment of South Dakota, and thanks His Excellency Dr. Irfan Ali for all of his personal support, and of course the committee of the Guyana Motor Racing and Sports Club, who have worked very hard to get this place together. Many people have been sleeping here at night. So the President, Mohammed Shiraz Roshan, Vice President Alan Hopkinson, the Secretary Azim Jafar, Treasurer Azad Hassan, Assistant Secretary Treasurer Ritesh Singh, Club Captain Ramiz Rahamid, Technical Advisor Stephen Jeffrey, and then committee members of the GMR S&C, Ashley Basson, Ilan Raham and Shemroy Ram Singh and Krishna Ramsibak. Thank you also to Daniel Cohen, the FIA Vice President North America, for his presence here this weekend. He's been very helpful. He's done marshal training and he's taking a great interest in what occurs around the region. And also great to see the President of NACAM, Dante Pescotto, here with us as well. Sponsors are necessary in all forms of sport. So we can mention, in no particular order, KFC, Ryan Perrier, Sterling Products, Palm Court, Banks DIH, AJM, J Parts, Reliance Inc., BK, Source Investments, Massey, Ines, Guy America Construction, Ashoka, Shafiq, BM Soat, Geico, Dry Dock, Excel Engineering, C&L Construction, Shoresh, Jagmohan, Barden Construction, Maycorp Builders, Lumber Yards, John Fernandez, New GBC, Lynn Sala, Torchinol Paints, GM Automotive, London House Total Solutions, Nabi Construction, Mohans, GL Vera, Star Party Rental, Petrop Corp, Beacon GK Inc., Prestige Imports, Secure Innovations, Fullworks, Blue Springs, S&D Construction, Paul Singh, Amil Construction, DDL Romcol, and Ansa McCall. All of those individuals and corporates have helped in the redevelopment of the South Dakota circuit. And it's unfortunate that our sponsors don't include somebody who can be responsible for the weather, but you can't have everything in motor racing. So, well, that shower seems to have cleared, and the direction from which things seem to come here certainly looks an awful lot brighter, because the last time I turned around I couldn't see the trees directly behind the clubhouse for the driving rain. So things are improving. So some grid reordering is going on. Conditions are improving by the looks of it, which is something to be thankful for. and this will be starting off. It's a little bit of a raggle-taggle looking line. It's not very straight, but it'll do. And it has Juan Diego Hernandez. So this is the order at the end of lap 6. Hernandez came into the pits during lap 7. And so it goes back to lap 6. The order then being Juan Diego Hernandez in his McLaren, and then William Martin in the first of the Guyana Porsches. Then Tommy Gore in the Jumbo Jet Lamborghini. Then Harry Foster, William Martin's teammate. And then Jimmy Libre in the Lexus, followed by, in 6th place, David Carbaleda in the, I can see it that bit above everything else because of that huge wing on the back. He's waving at me. Hello, David. Oh, no, he's not waving at me. He's trying to clear the mist out of his windscreen. Yeah, all right then. And then Ed Peed in the J-Parts Porsche is 7th. Maurizio Rock is 8th. 9th is Calvin Ming. And starting in 10th place, Carlos Hernandez. Then we've got Will Redford, a long way down at the moment. He's going to have to be making up some ground ahead of Danny Harrison in the Expo. Then Sebastian Guerra and Gustavo Ortega. And there are others behind them, but the live timing screen goes down to 15th place. But at least we are looking as though we are assembled in a way that we might be able to continue. The fire engine is pretending to be a Christmas tree, and very nice it looks too. This is Calvin Ming being brought forward to roundabout the right place. Okay, so after a degree of confusion, hopefully, because we had 12 minutes of the race already completed. I'm looking at Mike as I say this. Mike, so we have now 20 minutes plus 18 minutes plus 1 lap. There you go. 18 minutes plus 1 lap in both Spanish and English, that is. So that's excellent. So thank you, Mike. Good. So once we get underway, those clever photographers who look at the ground when it's been raining and see either puddles or very damp ground, you get a great image of the reflection of the new pit wall in the tarmac of the grid as I'm looking out there. I wonder what all the lines were that suddenly registered. It's the reflection of the fencing, which is FIA standard, like in F1 type fencing on the top of the pit wall.
Guyana, come in. Guyana, come in. Yes, I wanted to ask all the people here to turn their lights on.
So, in the order, John Diego Hernandez, William Martin, Tommy Gore, Harry Foster, Jimmy Libra, David Carbaleda, Ed Peed, Maurizio Rock, Calvin Ming, Carlos Hernandez, Will Redford. So, how many starts have we had today? One or two extra ones, that's for sure. The GT Challenge personnel are departing their positions on the grid, so the gate in the centre of the pits is closed, and so Pace Truck leading the field around once again. Good job they refueled the Pace Truck this morning, I reckon. He's done a good few miles. Oh, there's a nice puddle for a truck to go through, but not quite so much a McLaren. So this sighting lap will give the drivers an opportunity to spot where there is the type of standing water that's going to chuck their direction away from where they wish it to be. The Pace Truck making its way down towards the gooseneck, and then the new pit entry past the weighing tent, which is up there at the entry to the pit lane. And so Pace Truck has come into view, and we've got a green flag. Well, actually we've got a green, black, yellow and red flag, but you know what I mean. And we've already got a challenge for second place from the Porsche of William Martin, side by side with Tommy Gore as they went down into turn one. Who comes out ahead? It looks to me as though Tommy Gore came out of turn one in second place, but no, Ed Peed is up into second place. I'm sure that's the blue and white J-Parts car, or it might even, no, it's not Calvin, I can see Calvin's car, so it's Ed Peed who made a really cracking run into the first corner, and so very comfortably ahead is Juan Diego Hernandez, but behind him it's all sorts of interesting things have been occurring as they ran down into turn one for the first time. In second place is William Martin, third is Ed Peed, fourth is the Merc, fifth is David Carbadello. We've got lawn mowing going on again, different Lamborghini this time though, and just the most amazing traffic jam at the tail end of the field. I'm not quite sure which we're and that's Tommy Gore, I think, in fact, who's on the infield there. Not really quite sure what we're going to be able to do with him, but Juan Diego is already well on his way. Second, William. So Ed Peters really benefited dramatically on that first lap of our restarted race. David Carbadello well up the overall order. This is the sort of day possibly when a standard old Evo 6, one of only 7 left-hand drive Evo 6s that came out of the factory and went to Panama many, many years ago, a car that David used to win one of his first championships when he got it loaned by the owner when his own RX-7 broke. So it's a car that is very close to David Carbaleda's heart. So David Redford is up now into second place. Where's the no, he's not. So here comes the race leader down. Juan Diego Hernandez is now crossing the line at the end of what is now the 9th lap, with in second place, giving very energetic chase now, the Will Redford Mercedes. Next up behind him was Ed Peed, and then fourth is still the David Carbolader Evo 6. Fifth is now Calvin Min. Sixth is Zachary Boudram. I didn't spot who that was in seventh place. Eighth is the KTM Expo of Danny Harrison. Field really quite spread out, but every now and then there's a clutch of 2, 3 or 4 cars trying to do heroic things. The Lexus isn't sounding particularly healthy at the moment. Will Redford is doing the best he can to chase down Juan Diego Garcia. Ed Peed is very much on his own in third place in the J-Parts Porsche, with just under 14 minutes of the race to go. And then next up now is Zachary Boudram, then David Carbolader, who's now going to be eaten up by Calvin Ming and the second of the Guy America Porsches. So I'm going to talk to what I can see, not what the screen thinks it's telling me, because it's not telling me the truth. That's all I can say. And so across the line, therefore, then goes Zachary Boudram, who is in fourth place. Calvin Ming moves up to fifth by passing the David Carbolader Evo 6, but Carbolader holding on well. Evos, of course, very successful rally cars, and I suspect that an Evo in these grotty conditions is not a bad car to be driving. Well, look how much the gap has come down between the race leader Juan Diego Hernandez and Will Redford as they go on to the back straight. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if there isn't going to be a challenge for the lead between Will and Juan Diego as they come onto the start line straight. The Mercedes right on the tail of the McLaren as they come down to cross the line at the end of the 11th lap. But the McLaren holding on at the moment. I thought there was flame coming out the back of that, but I think it's spray in the red rear light, which is mandatory. Third, that is Ed Peed. Fourth, with the yellow headlights on the Mitsubishi, is Zachary Boudram. Then up to fifth place now has come Gustavo Ortega. Sixth is Calvin Ming, the Evo being eaten up now. Seventh is the Hernandez, the Carlos Hernandez, and the Merc is in the lead now, got past over the far side of the circuit. So Will Redford looks as though he might well be able to hold on to 100% success record in GT3 races at South Dakota. The time on the screen shows just over 11 minutes to go, and it is the red Mercedes AMG GT, which is the first car that we see coming out of the final turn as he crosses the line to maintain his lead that he has taken on that lap, and if anything, extended. Juan Diego Hernandez in second place. Third is Ed Peed. Fourth here is Zachary Boudram, and then fifth place across the line now is Gustavo Ortega. 6th, Calvin Min in the Porsche. Seventh in the black and green. Is Carlos Hernandez, as I said, and so one or two still being lost in this second race. Ed Peed about to find himself in a bit of trouble because Zachary Boudram has closed the gap quite dramatically. On top of that, Gustavo Ortega is closing the gap on the two ahead of him. Another lap completed by the leading Mercedes AMG GT. The Audi has been recovering very well too. He's now right up behind Carlos Hernandez, and I think he's going to get past Carlos before, no, not before they get to the gooseneck, but it might well be down the main straight. Zachary Boudram in the blue and yellow Lambo now absolutely right with the blue and white 911, and he's straight past him under braking for the right-hander, so he is now up into third place as they reach the inner hairpin. Ed Peed drops down to fourth. Fifth is Gustavo Ortega. Sixth place very much on his own, the one Guyana Porsche 911 of Calvin Min. Seventh is Carlos Hernandez, up to seventh. Up to seventh has gone Carlos Hernandez. Another lap completed, just over 8 minutes to go before the total of 30. 18 in this bit. And the Audi still right on the tail of Carlos Hernandez. I got that little battle wrong. So Hernandez still managing to hold off the Audi. So the race leader, the British driver, Will Redford, heading now on to the back straight with the most comfortable lead he could wish for. So really it's all just down to whether he makes a mistake, which Will tends not to, or if there is an issue with the car, which jumbo jet cars tend not to have. Zachary Boudram laps the Lexus. Ed Peed now also having lost fourth place to Gustavo Ortega. So race leader already approaching the inner hairpin as second place McLaren of Juan Diego. Hernandez crosses the third line. Third there is Zachary Boudram. This race turning out well for him. Fourth now is Gustavo Ortega. Fifth, the blue and white Porsche of Ed Peed, and sixth, the one Guyana Porsche 911 of Calvin Min. There he is. Seventh, giving chase, is Carlos Hernandez. He's still, in fact, he's extended his advantage over the Solibatesh Audi, which is in 8th place. Still a bit of lapping to do. I reckon Danny Harrison in the Expo is 9th, and David Carboleda in the Evo running in 10th place. Looking at the clock, which is the one bit of the timing screen I think I can trust at the moment, which is saying that there are just over 5 minutes to go. Remember, 1 lap after we have passed that total of half-hour mark, adding the 2 halves of this red flag race together. There goes Ortega. In 5th place, Calvin Ming. That wasn't Ortega. There's Ed Peed. Sorry, Ed Peed now having slipped back another place. So there is Calvin Ming. Then Ortega, so I'd got the Audi muddled up once again. So the McLaren just heading off onto the back straight, as already at the gooseneck is the leading Mercedes AMG, down to a little bit over 4 minutes to go. And the AMG Mercedes, which crosses the line now, with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go before the add a lap moment comes. Calvin Ming now has Solly Betesh in the Audi right on his tail, heading down into the gooseneck. Good drive by Solly Betesh in the Audi to recover from early issues. That spin right at the beginning of the first part of this race, when he'd started on the front couple of rows of the grid. Slower cars keeping out of the way as headlights are flashed by Calvin Ming, and the Audi goes storming past the Lexus as well down into turn 1. Carlos Hernandez following them in. Calvin Ming is managing to hold off the Audi at the moment, which drops back a little bit in the right hand. What happens coming into the hairpin? No, the white Porsche holds off the grey and Dayglow Audi for the moment. There's the race leader crossing the line once again with 2 minutes and 35 seconds or so to go. The blue McLaren got a couple of back markers he needs to pass as they go down to the trickier section of the circuit. Zachary Boudram holding on to that 3rd place. But I'm not sure it'll last, because Gustavo Ortega is certainly now chasing him down. Ed Peed now having been dropped by those ahead of him, but I don't reckon with just a couple of minutes, well, a minute and a bit to go, that he's going to get caught by either Calvin Ming or the Audi if it were to find its way past Calvin Ming. So with just seconds to go, we'll hit the 30 minutes in the middle of this lap. So there will be 1 lap to go after this one. Where is the race leader? Gustavo Ortega. That was just going past in the number 51 Lamborghini. Ed Peed in 5th place. Here comes the race leader once again. No, he doesn't. That's good then, because a minute is going to So there will be one more lap. The 30 minutes had elapsed before the race leader crossed the line, which he did just now. And so this will be the final lap with the Mercedes of Will Redford looking as though it is going to be victorious here at South Dakota for the second time today. I could say a much easier race for Will Redford this time, but then the conditions for a guy who's been driving without a dash and very much driving by feel, it's been something of an achievement. So where is the red Mercedes now? There goes the Audi. Sixth place, Calvin Ming in seventh, and any second now coming out of the final turn should be the Mercedes AMG of Will Redford, and to take the checkered, and there it is, to take the checkered flag. Now what I don't know is whether a checkered flag was waved, because you can't see that from down here. So it's something else that needs to be looked at when we come to write the. So then, with the result looking like this, Will Redford in the AMG GT Mercedes, leading Juan Diego Hernandez home, followed I'm not sure that a checkered flag has been waved, because they do not appear to be slowing down, so looks like we may have to wait one more lap then. See what happens when the Mercedes comes past next time, with Will Redford at the wheel. There it is. And that was a checkered flag, because he definitely backed off this time round. And so I think that was 12 minutes, 18 minutes, and possibly 2 laps. But never mind. A fantastic end to what has been a rather challenging Guyana Grand Prix. There is the Lexus, which also backs off, having been lapped. My gut feeling is that Will Redford didn't spot the checkered flag, because he seems to be the only one who has come round and done an extra lap. So, that was the Guyana Grand Prix, the first visit of the GT Challenge de Lasamericas to the Caribbean here in Guyana in 6 weeks' time, on August the 29th and 30th. You can do all of this again if you fancy a short hour and a half or so flight to Barbados and the Bushy Park track there, which doesn't have a huge, long, fast straight like this. It has a straight, but probably about half the length of this, if even that. And so the speeds will be different, but the cars will be the same in large part. The drivers will be the same in large part, and the competition will be significant. Zachary Boudram, for his third place, gets welcomed by the team Speedway group as he arrives back at the pit box. So a few final thank yous then from up here in the tower. I just want to say a personal vote of thanks from
yesterday when things did get really very complicated for me with trying to do timing and things, and to say thanks to Alex Bermuth, who lent me his phone so I could use all his data to get the live timing. Thanks to Stanley Ming, who lent me one of those little white chargery things which kept Alex's phone going so that I could get the times yesterday. So thanks to both of those, and to PA engineer Antoine and all the guys who've worked with him to make us audible over the last couple of days as the presidential convoy prepares to leave the circuit. Thanks to all of the marshals, our medical crews, thankfully they didn't have much to do, our fire crew for being on standby, but again, thankfully, with nothing to do. Thanks to all of the competitors from the GT Challenge to Lasamericas, and the organizer and creator of it, Eduardo Aguilar, and his right-hand girl, Sylvia Bermudez, for their terrific work, along with their team that they bring with them, and I'm sure I shall meet again in Barbados in 6 weeks' time. Thanks to Jonathan de Groot as well, who's been our clerk of the course, working with the GT Challenge race director, Mike. All of that has made for a smooth running as much as possible when the weather throws at us what it did today. A final thanks then to the government of Guyana for its support of the works that have been done here at South Gatota. As you can see, it is a work in progress. It is very different to what it was before. It is equally very different to what it will be in the future when many of the ancillary works are complete. Please drive safely on your way home. Don't pretend that you are Will Redford or Mark Vieira or anyone like that. Just be careful. The roads are going to be very busy, and after all of this rain, they're not going to be very comfortable to drive on either. From me, Robin Bradford, that is the end of my part of this meeting, except I suspect I might have to do a prize giving somewhere, and then that is it. Thank you very much.